Coming up on Serial at Midnight, a massive Mill Creek Entertainment Collection update, and I do mean massive. Blu-rays, DVDs, and one of the biggest box sets you have ever seen. All that and more coming up right after this. Hello and welcome to Serial at Midnight, the official YouTube channel of SerialAtMidnight.com. My name is Heath, and I'm glad you're here. I have nowhere else to go. I was trying to ride the elevator down. Guys, October has come and gone. It is November now as I'm recording this. If you're in the 2072 post-zombie apocalypse, you don't care what month it is. But it's November for me as I record this, and that means that I have survived the Halloween season. As many of you have noticed through your cards and your letters, but through Twitter communications, through the comments in the videos, I busted my bootay on Serial at Midnight's October content, and I am going to try to take November a little bit easier. Maybe fewer videos, shorter videos, because I got to recharge the battery. I put everything I had into October. And as a result, watched very few Halloween movies. So maybe I can catch up on some of that in November. But having said all that, I was stockpiling purchases that came in for after October. I was trying to stay focused, but I picked up a lot of stuff during October on sales and some really cool things that I found out there in the wild. So this is a Mill Creek video because the bulk of what I picked up actually turned out to be Mill Creek Entertainment stuff. So let's just jump right into it. First and foremost, I picked up this double feature. This is the Psycho Biddy double feature. That's what they call it. It's right here. Psycho Biddy double feature. It's got Straight Jacket and it's got Berserk on it. Now, Straight Jacket is an axe murderer horror movie. These both star Joan Crawford, who was in What's Eating Baby Jane, and Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Whatever Happened to Baby Jane? Not the same thing. And then Berserk is like a traveling circus murder movie. So they're both horror, psychological horror, probably. They're not like Halloween or anything like that, but these are both from the 60s. I think one is 63, one is 67. So firmly in the Serial at Midnight tradition. Y'all know how I do. You know what I like. I picked this up at a thrift store. Very little thrift store pickings. It's still very slim. We even had a yard sale. There was a neighborhood yard sale last weekend. And I picked up a power strip. Like plugs. Like a circuit breaker power brick kind of a thing. For $1. That's what I bought. So it's slim pickings out there right now for media, but I did manage to find this for $2. This is 200 classic cartoons from Mill Creek. It's a 4-disc set. They actually have an even bigger version of this. They have a 600 cartoon set, but I'll start with this one. Betty Boop cartoons, Popeye cartoons. It's not going to be like Mickey Mouse or anything like that. These are all things that are available in the public domain. So a lot of 30s and 40s and 50s stuff. There's some Three Stooges cartoons on here. Mighty Mouse, Baby Huey, Hunky and Spunky. There's one Hunky and Spunky short on here. I don't even know what that is. But this is actually really cool. It's 21 hours and 41 minutes of old cartoons. So I think that's cool. I got this Buffalo Girls DVD. Now, let's talk about Larry McMurtry. And have you guys ever seen Lonesome Dove? Because if you haven't and you like Westerns, forget that. If you haven't and you like stories about people, I would highly encourage you to seek out Lonesome Dove. The novel, Larry McMurtry's novel, one of the great American novels. He's one of our, great literary writers, in my opinion. He writes fantastic stories about people, sometimes rooted in the West, usually as the West is changing and it's like leaving and the West is not wild anymore and its characters trying to come to terms with what do they do now? Who are they when this thing that has defined them no longer needs them? When there are no more frontiers left to explore? That sort of thing. So Lonesome Dove is fantastic. And after that was adapted into a miniseries, I think a 3-night, 6-hour, or maybe it was a 4-night. I think it was 4-night. Roughly 6-hour miniseries in '89, I believe, and it was a huge hit. And so they just started like adapting everything they could into all of his novels into miniseries, and this is one of them. Buffalo Girls came on in 1995. It was a 2-night miniseries, so it's about 3 hours. It's got Angelica Houston, who we all agree is amazing, right? The Royal Tenenbaums, the Witches, Prizzi's Honor. Angelica Houston, fantastic. It's got Melanie Griffith in it. It's got Sam Elliott. It's got Jack Palance. You are my number one guy. Jack Palance. That's my Jack Palance impression. I'm not just being a creeper. But it's got a great cast. My problem with this is that they didn't give it enough running time. Not Mill Creek, the people that commissioned this in the first place, did not give it, CBS Entertainment. They didn't give it enough time. It's rushed because it's so compressed. It's like scene after scene after scene, and nothing has time to breathe. Like Lonesome Dove breathes, man. You just live in there with these characters. And this is just always in a hurry to get to the next thing. But having said that, if you like Westerns, if you like this sort of thing, I would highly recommend you check it out. And I have reviewed this at serialatmidnight.com. Also, a review has not been written yet, but it is coming for Metropolis, the anime. Look at this package, you guys. This is a steelbook of the anime Metropolis. I'm going to take, so we've got this fine looking slipcase here. And then here's the steelbook. I think this thing is absolutely gorgeous. That's our steelbook. And then there's a Blu-ray and a DVD in here. This is quality, you guys. And so, like I said, there is going to be a review coming. I just haven't had a chance to write it yet because of all the October shenanigans. But with that being said, I can kind of slow down and focus some more on getting some written pieces on the site. If you haven't been following along, we're doing Invisible Man on the site, the movie by movie look at the Invisible Man series. Okay, retro slipcases are a really big deal right now, and at my Walmart, one of my Walmarts, there's a whole section set up of retro slipcase Blu-rays and a few DVDs, and like 30 of them or so, and I am of a mixed opinion about them, but there were some that I saw that I had to grab, and these are the Mill Creek ones that I grabbed. So we have Who's Harry Crumb with John Candy. We have Silent Rage with Chuck Norris. I'm going to talk about these two. And we have Happy Birthday to Me. And what I like about these, so some of the studios did this very lazily. The retro slipcases are just like a panel that they've slipped inside the shrink wrap, and so I don't even know if that will fit inside the front of the Blu-ray. But these are done well. These have, on one side, they have like the VHS labels, like you've taken the tape out of you're taking the tape out of the VCR or whatever, and you've got the labels. The other side, and they all have the VHS art on them, and then the other side is the spines of the movies themselves. And most of these have different artwork inside. So Happy Birthday to Me has a completely different Blu-ray cover. If I can get this back in. This one's slightly different. It's kind of the same thing, but it's a little bit different. That's different enough. And then this one is kind of sort of different. It's a little different. But anyway, I have some thoughts about these. So one, I like the way Mill Creek did this because this actually does look like retro It looks like a video store rental. So it says action thriller. It's got your Be Kind Rewind up here. This has the comedy sticker on it, so you'd file it in the comedy section. Please rewind on it. And this one says 50-cent charge if tape is not rewound. And it's got a horror label on it. Those, I love that. I think that's great. I have a problem with companies putting retro VHS slipcases on movies that never existed in the VHS era. So there's a Godzilla, the newer, the 2015, is it, Godzilla movie? There's a version of John Wick in VHS packaging. No. No. Those never existed on VHS. They cannot recall the glory of VHS because they were never there. These are like an homage to the VHS era, and it's like nostalgia mixed with some cool stuff. But if your movie was never on VHS in the first place, I don't know. It's weird to me. Also, a lot of those have stickers on them that say like 2018 or like 2017 or something like that. Like, why would you put that? That destroys the whole aesthetic that you're trying to achieve. But Mill Creek, I think, did it right. Unfortunately, and this is not Mill Creek's fault, unfortunately, I bought these at Walmart. And Walmart put a sticker right here. I'm going to put a picture of that sticker over this. They put a sticker right up there. And guys, this thing is on there with military grade glue. I have 3 of these, obviously, and I messed up all 3 of these slipcases. I don't know that you can really tell because it kind of blends in, kind of matches the aesthetic. But I know that they're messed up. Like this one is kind of... So first of all, none of the residue totally came off. And second of all, this is not like a laminated paper stock. So you're going to get... you can't take like something strong to it, or you're going to take the color away because there's no lamination over it. This is just, you know, I don't even know, matte finish paper. I know I'm being pedantic. I know I'm being too anal about this, but literally the gimmick of these is the slipcase. And then you have to mess up the slipcase to get this big Walmart sticker off. It's kind of messed up. Anyway, these are all $7.50. I'm not sure if they're available other places besides Walmart. There's also one for hard bodies that I would like to pick up because that VHS cover was super iconic. But I haven't seen that in any Walmart. It's probably, that might be controversial for Walmart. They don't want like a bikini staring at them or something. I mean, it seems super tame now, but, so that's that. I want to talk about these movies, or at least I want to talk about Silent Rage. If you haven't seen Silent Rage, this movie is insane. It is a Chuck Norris. It's essentially a horror movie. Now it says that it's action thriller. I feel comfortable saying Silent Rage is very close to horror if it's not horror. It's got this mute killer that absolutely cannot be killed. It's basically Michael Myers without a mask. Like, he just cannot be put down. The movie opens with a murder, like in real time, like you're following the murder, kind of like when we see Michael Myers go up and murder his sister. Spoilers for Halloween. But and then who is the man that has to take him down? It's Chuck Norris, and it's fantastic. And I own this movie on this 3-pack. This is the only other time Mill Creek has issued this movie, was on this. It's the Payback Time triple feature, and it's got Blind Fury, which is the Rutger Hauer ninja movie, basically. Where he's like a blind guy, but he's a ninja as well. That's a fun movie. It's also got Silent Rage on it, which we just talked about, and White Line Fever with Jan Michael Vincent, which I love all three of these movies. I think they're all great, but the problem, if it's not a problem, but it's 3 movies on one Blu-ray, and they look fine. They honestly look like if you caught them on an HD channel on cable or something like that. They look fine. But knowing that this movie gets its own dedicated Blu-ray, and it has been confirmed that this does have a higher bit rate. It's a better quality encoding because it's not sharing space with 2 other movies. So it gets the whole disc all to itself. So I gladly dropped, these were $7.50, and I gladly dropped that $7.50 to support this solo version of this. And if they put the Mill Creek, if you're watching this, I would absolutely support the other 2 movies from this collection on their own individual releases as well. So if you wanted to put Blind Fury out or White Line Fever, I would absolutely buy those. And I suspect other people would too, because we are collectors, are we not? And now for the grand finale, you guys. I teased Massive at the beginning of the video, and it really is massive. If you recall in a previous Mill Creek video, I think maybe it was one of my Mill Creek collection videos, I talked about this 200 movie drive-in cult classics, drive-in cult cinema collection. This is 200 movies on 50 DVDs. Obviously with these you get a really mixed bag. This is most of the movies are bad, right? But that's the appeal for people like you. If you're watching this channel, you agree, like you enjoy a bad movie from time to time, or more than from time to time. And so I was aware of another product. There's actually 2 other products, but I finally had the opportunity to add the Tales of Terror collection to my collection. Tales of Terror collection to my collection. And this is 200 horror movies on 50 discs, just like it is the horror movie equivalent of this. So, wow. And I'll take the top off of it really quick. So I'll just show you all around. So here's the front. It's very cool. Here's the side. That's half the movies. Here's the other side. There's the other half of the movies. On the back, we've got these classic actors. We've got Bella. We've got Boris. Christopher Lee, obviously. Here's the top of the collection, and here is the bottom of the collection. So it's beautiful. And what convinced me to buy this, well, first, I found it at a really great price on eBay. It was on eBay. I'm not sure that this is actually in production anymore. I'm not sure. This has a retail price of $100. I found an eBay seller who apparently had a ton of inventory of them. I do not think this is a bootleg. I think this is the real deal. It looks just like it's I think it's the real deal. It's exactly the same. It comes with a booklet with all the movies in it. Anyway, it was under $30. It was $29, free shipping. And so, being the guy that I am, I needed to add this to my collection. So, here's how they do it. All of this is just... this package could be smaller, but I guess they want to give it some substance, some heft. So we have our booklet here, and then 50 discs in paper sleeves, which for something like this, I'm totally fine with the paper sleeves. You got 50 discs and you need a way to easily accommodate them, that's the way to go. And so I watched a video on YouTube from a channel that I follow. I'm subscribed, but you guys, I'm so far from current on any YouTube channels right now because I'm just so busy making my own content. But there's a channel called, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, but Zaranyzerak. It's right here. And he reviewed this box set in its entirety. He went through great journalistic coverage of this thing. What was on it, the posters for all the movies, where they came from, like what other sets that they are on. And what I learned from that is that essentially it's this set completely. So I have this. This is 50 movies, and it has all 50 of these movies are in this set. And I believe it might even be the same discs. I'm not sure, but and I believe it's this set as well, which is the horror classic. I think this has a few different covers, but this is the retro focused, like the 30s and the 40s black and white horror collection from Mill Creek. And again, there are multiple variations of some of these. Some rights have changed. They have, they've lost some movies, but they've picked up other movies. So anyway, I do have roughly at least 100 of them in other collections, but that still leaves many more. I think there's 23 or 24 movies that are unique to just this collection. And there's a lot of stuff that's not technically horror. There's some Sherlock Holmes in here. There's some crime, some mystery, some film noir stuff. But still, there are lots of things that are only in this set. And for that price and for what this is, for essentially, I love these old movies. You guys know that I love to watch old horror, B movies, exploitation, grindhouse, that sort of thing. I love the unsung, the unexplored. I love that stuff. So I had to have it. And if you want a deeper look at that, I would recommend you go to Zaranyzerak's channel and check out that video. I'll link to it too. I'll put a link to his video in the links in the description, pal. So that is it. But I think you will agree. You have not been misled. This is... oh, guys. This is a massive Mill Creek collection update. And so, I should also mention, I believe... so these are the two sets that I mentioned. There is a third one that is a Western set. I believe it's called the Trail West. And it is many, many hours of the Western movies that Mill Creek has access to. And that's going to be a lot of some spaghetti Westerns and some, spaghetti Westerns are like a dime a dozen when it comes to public domain collections. And some of them are finally getting some legitimate releases, so that's good. Like Sartana just got a fantastic release that I did pick up. The Sabata movies have good Kino Lorber distributions. But there's a lot of stuff that's just, maybe some Gene Autry Westerns, some Roy Rogers sort of stuff. So I will probably have to add that one to my collection too, just for completionist's sake, if nothing else. So that is it. This video was longer than I thought that it would be, but it's still shorter than the Icons of Horror videos, right? So we'll get back on track as we get further into November. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I will catch you later.